all hot paper craft. This is one finished model of the van, and this is another finished model of the van. How to do the minivan. And okay, so you put the cursor in the middle and you add a cube. And yeah, this cube is strange because it's behind here. Yeah, so then I put the cube in the wrong position. And then I will just move it up and move it in the right position here. Okay, if I would have switched to the next thing would be to switch to the side view, and then you would notice that it's not in the right position. So then you will just move it here, move it up, and you need to align it to this corner. Okay, cursor has disappeared because it's the position is where the cursor is. So I move this corner to here, and as you can see, it's still behind. Okay, but for now it doesn't matter. So actually, if I switch to the top view, I will see that it's not in the right position here, so I can move it a little bit over here. Actually, I should align it to this corner, but that's actually later. So if the cube like this, so you put it in this position. Okay, you have it in this position. You put the cursor in the top left corner. Then you click use this to align the bottom side. Okay, and then here unlike than with other cars, you will just scale this all the way to the end. Okay, and then you go to the top view, and yeah, so now you should align to this corner. So you move up towards this corner, put the cursor in this corner, scale to the width of the van. Okay, so now you have the basic part. So now you should do something with the front, and for that you switch to the edit mode. So you select, and in the edit mode, of course, you can select a vertex, you can select an edge, or you can select a surface. Okay? You don't need to touch the vertex, it's only for really advanced stuff. Better to not use it, or it will mess up things if you don't do it well. Just stick with the edge and the surface. So for here, you select this surface, and then you have this tool is the extrude tool. And the extrude tool will pull your part out here, see? And you better click on plus and pull there, because it will pull in the right direction. If you pull on the side, it will, it will do this. And this is not what you want. Another thing, if every time you pull, you will create a new one, okay? So don't accidentally create too many new ones. If you don't get the right position, switch to the moving tool, and then you can just move it to the right position. Another thing to pay attention to when you pull it out, don't try to accidentally click several times, then you do something like this, like it's a little bit inset like this, okay? So actually this is as another new one. So you better be careful when you pull it out. Okay, for the van here, I will pull it out to here. Pull it out to here. Then I go to the top view, and now I need to make sure that I align with the center, okay? Because now if I scale, it's still selected, the cursor is still selected. So if I scale, you will see that, oh, this is almost the middle, but just assume that the cursor is not right in the right position. Then it will scale differently on both sides, okay? So to make sure that you're really in the center, it's better to use here the bounding box center, which will be the center of this surface. Go to the top and then scale a little bit inward. Yeah, a little bit inward. Go to the side view. Then you can select this edge, and you can move this edge down, okay, to here. Okay, so then the next step would be to select again the surface here and move it, extrude it again, and extrude it all the way to, this was move, extrude it to here. Go to the top view, and now this angle is scaled in more, like somewhat like about this much. Okay, you got it. And then you select this top edge and make sure that this is moved down to align with the angle of the upper part, or somewhat align with the angle of the upper part. Okay, and then you have the front basically done. But what you still want to do is this part. Okay, for this part you are going to need the knife, and the knife tool is actually is a super useful tool because you can use it to create new edges. So if you click here, you click somewhere, every time you click, you make a corner, and then when you put enter, then this will be accepted. And then what you could do is you could select this, yeah, and you could do something with those lines. Yeah, this is of course not good, yeah, this is not what we want. So if you need to get rid of it again, you just here do dissolve edges. Don't do delete edges, because then it will delete actually the whole surface. Okay, so you dissolve the edges. Okay, and then for the knife, you choose the knife, you click on a corner, and then you have like this. Okay, and in order to get this to the right position, maybe it needs to be a little bit more up. Actually, it can help to have this view. Okay, so now we can see it's below the light. Okay, so we click here. We click here on this edge, not the outer edge. Then we have this, and now we can hold Y key to go along the Y axis, and we move it all over to here. Click and hit enter. So we have new edges here on all of this, and now we need to do another two. So one would be here, and again we hold Y to go along the Y axis. Enter, click Y along Y axis, enter. Okay, okay. So now we have this. Go back to turn off the X-ray view. Okay. So now you have two options to do this. Okay. One way would be you select this surface and move this surface out. Okay. This would be one option. Or you can select all of those three and move them out. Okay, so of course that will be two very different fronts of the car, but you know both work. I personally prefer this one. And later when you export out, you will actually have to triangulate these faces, but we will get to that when we will get to that. So now we have this surface, okay? So now the next thing we need is the cabin. And for the cabin, you have two options. One is to extrude out. Then go to the top view, switch to X-ray, and adjust the, first extrude out. Go to top view, and then use the scaling tool to adjust to this outer width, and then use the selected edge, this edge, to move backward to here, first to here, and then this the edge here in the back. Can't see well. Turn off the turn off. Okay, so in the bottom. So then this edge, top view, see through, move to here. Okay, so this is one way. The other way is, and actually, so that this position is actually not correct. So this actually needs to come more down. So around here, and then you still have this thing in the top, which is the second one. Okay, so that's one way. The other way is to use the insert face tool. So then we select the insert face tool, we select the surface, we go to the top view, we go to X-ray mode, and then by clicking on a circle, we can create this inset face, right? And we set this to the width of this one, okay? Then we can use the edge to adjust the front edge to here, and the back edge to here. Then we go out, we turn off the X-ray mode because that makes it easier to select the surface. Select this surface here in the middle, go to the side view, pull this up to the cabin. Okay. Actually, this one I feel still should go a little bit more back. Oh wait, but we don't want the surface. We want the edge. Go a little bit more back. Okay, so this is this part of the cabin, and then we just repeat the same thing for this upper roof extension. So we just repeat the same thing for the roof extension. Okay, here's good. Yeah, maybe we can still adjust it later. Then move this to the back. And this is better to adjust actually from the side view. Switch to this view. Turn off X-ray. Again, select this surface. Switch to the side view. Move it up to here. Okay, and now this corner, right? So this corner, ideally, it should align with the part that's going on. Actually, you can also keep it like this if you like. But yeah, so this one should go a little bit back, so to be closer to the angle here. Okay, so now now the main cabin is done. Okay, so now what we need to do are the wheels and the fenders, which are the holes in which the wheels are positioned. To do this, it's better to turn off the body first. So here we go up here to the scene collection and hide the body. So now we need to have for the wheels. Okay, so we need to bring in different wheels. We go back to object mode. We first need to bring in a cylinder. So now when you create a cylinder, you just click on the cylinder, and then the first thing you should do after clicking that, you don't move, you don't touch it, you don't do anything. You go down here to add cylinder, which is actually the adjust last operation. And then you select the cylinder, and you see, because now you can see many corners, right? So this depends on how many vertices this has. If you change the amount of vertices, it will become more round. Or, if you have 8, then it will also become less round. So in order to make a really good, nice round cylinder, you should go to around 80, which is like this. Okay, then you can start to adjust it. You go here to rotate it by 90 degrees. Okay. Then you switch to the side view. Switch to moving. You move over and you move down, and you must align the top of the cylinder with the top of the wheels. Then you position the cursor in this spot. Okay. And then you can choose alignment towards the cursor. Then you need to move around the white edge, because if you do this, you will scale around that. You will not scale proportionally. So scale proportionally down to get the right size of the wheel. It helps to stop in between and then readjust. So now the size is like this. Go a little bit up. Okay. Make it a little bit bigger again once. Okay. So then go to the front view and adjust the width of the wheel. So for that, move it over. No, something is wrong. For that, move it over so the inner side aligns with the left side. Then position the cursor on that side. Scale to the width of the wheel. Still move a little bit in. Okay, so now we have one wheel. But we need to have a bigger cylinder to cut out where the wheel goes inside the body. So for that, we could duplicate. To duplicate, you click the right mouse button or the double finger click, and then you select duplicate objects. And after you do that, you shouldn't move. If you move, then you're lost. Okay, then you should hit escape or delete that duplicate. So you click duplicate objects, and then you click again and try not to move. And now you could move this away. But if you switch to the wireframe, so now we have two in the same position. Okay, we don't really see them. So now we switch to the side view. We switch to the alignment. We switch alignment to center, and now we can use the scale to scale this bigger, right? And it also should move a little bit up. Okay. So now if we switch to wireframe and X-ray, we can see that there are actually two wheels within one another. Okay. Another thing we do is to scale this thing, the outer one, scale it, and again we switch back to cursor alignment, keep the cursor on the inner edge and scale it a little bit wider because that makes it easier for us to cut the hole later. Then we go to the side view, and now we duplicate this one again, and we move the duplicate over to the back and put it in the right position there. Okay, then we take the two wheels and move them over. Yeah, if we move them over, we don't move them over, we want to duplicate them again, of course. Duplicate them, click, keep them in the same position, move them over. Make sure to keep them in the right position here. Okay, now we can bring back the body. And now we must check that the body is in the correct position. So you can see here that the body is a little bit too far to the left. Okay, so I will move the body a little bit more to the left. It's a little bit bigger than the drawing, yeah, but it should be exactly in the middle. Okay, and now I recommend you, highly recommend you to save. Yeah, save. And then save under a new name. So save as and then to. This is because now we are going to use the bool tool. And if something goes wrong with the bool tool, we may not be able to change this body back. Okay? So it's good to keep a copy of this original body. Okay, so we saved it under a new name. So now we can cut out those wheels, fenders. And to check once again, we check from the front view, is the distance here the same? We turn off the images maybe to see better. So is this distance the same as this distance? So here it's obviously a little bit more. Okay, so again for both. Let me see, where is it more? So it's more on this side, right? So I should take both of them and move them a little bit back, so this is the same. Okay, now it's about the same. Can still double check with the bottom view. Yeah, looks good. Okay, then I can go ahead with the bool tool. And with the bool tool, it's important to pay attention to that you select, you want to cut this out of this, not this out of this. Okay, so you need to select this first. If you select this first and then select this one, and you use the bool tool to cut out, yeah, difference, you see, then it will cut away that and the body will disappear. Okay, so of course you don't want that. So that's my select this first, then select this, then use the bool tool. A Boolean difference will cut out the whole. Do the same thing here. Boolean difference, cut out the whole. Yeah, same thing here. Object, Boolean difference, object, Boolean difference. Okay, so now I have this. Now I need to duplicate the wheel. Okay, so I will go to the bottom view. I will check this wheel, duplicate it, move it over to the other side, then go to the side view and go to the wireframe view to make sure that it's aligned properly. Although this doesn't really matter because later the wheel will be separate anyway. Okay, so then I have these two wheels. Go back to the bottom view and duplicate the two wheels. Okay. Duplicate the two wheels and move the duplicates over to the opposite side. Okay, so now I have this basic van done. Only thing that's still missing are the rear view mirrors. Okay, so for the rear view mirrors, it's good to remake the images first and then hide the body. Okay, so here are the rear view mirrors, and you go to the top view, and what you need again, once again, is a cube. And then you move this cube to the position at the bottom right corner, align it with the mirror. You can switch to X-ray to see better. Put the cursor in the corner here, and then you can scale it. Make sure it's aligned with the cursor. Scale it to that width. And this is rather narrow. Yeah. Whoop. Okay. And scale it to this. You can scale it a little bit inward. Keep it a little bit more. It doesn't matter because it disappears in the body. Then go to the side view. Move it to the right position in the side view. And move it a little bit up. And then put the cursor in the top. Scale the lower part up. Okay. So now like this. Then you switch to the edit mode. Go to the top view. Select this edge. Maybe let me get rid of X-ray. So select this edge. Go to the top view. And now move this edge inward to create this kind of angle. Okay. So that's the rear view mirror. Go back to edit, to object mode. Bring back the body. Okay, so now you have it like here, right? So now you need to have one on the opposite side. So you choose this, you duplicate it. And then you can rotate it, okay? Not rotate, mirror it. Click on it, mirror the mirror. So you go to mirror, mirror along Y global. You see now it has been mirrored. And now you can move this over to the opposite side. And of course you need to make sure that it's in the right position. Okay, then you check, turn off the images now once again. And then you can go to the front view and see, are the mirrors the same size? This one is a little bit bigger, so I will move it a little bit in. So now they are pretty much the same size. Double check from the top, looks good. Okay, so I have my rear view mirrors. If you want, you can still rotate them a little bit. But of course you would have to rotate both the same way. You could rotate them a little bit like this. But actually here for the van, it's not really necessary because it doesn't go very fast anyway. So now this is basically done. And now the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to unify them, okay? So I take those two and the body, select all of them. And then I use the Boolean, the bool tool again, the Boolean. And but this time I don't choose different, I choose union. And now they all become one. And then my van is basically finished. I can go ahead with defining the parts for the model, making the paint and unfolding. But that's another video. Thank you.